Hello there, my science friends. I'm back! Right, enough of that. I had a small interruption in my bi-weekly upload schedule, but as promised, I'm planning some really special videos for you. Unfortunately, they take time, and that was definitely something I had not enough of in the last few weeks. In the meantime, I'm gonna create some videos that are much more applicable to my current life, as I'm in the midst of my training camp for my very first trail half marathon. Yeah, anyways, let's start with a supplement that I've got recommended from about every trainer I've spoken to, seen on many apps across the web, but didn't actually know much about until I looked into the science of it. Creatine. To be exact, creatine monohydrate. So let's dive into the science, well, the sports science of creatine. When we do sports, our body burns calories and fats within our cells, and the mitochondria, the little powerhouses of the cell, produce a molecule called adenosine triphosphate, ATP. ATP is an energy carrier, basically fuel for anything in the body that causes energy, like being active. It serves as a little shuttle delivering energy in the parts of the cells where it is needed. ATP is a nucleotide that consists of three main structures: the nitrogenous base, adenine, the sugar, ribose, and a chain of three phosphate groups bound to ribose. This phosphate tail of the ATP is the actual power source that the cell taps. During physical exercise, ATP is broken down to adenosine diphosphate, ADP, and the energy released during that breakdown is used by our bodies. Now, when we perform really high intensity exercises, like for example sprinting, we enter the so-called phosphagen cycle, and our muscles used in those exercises need immediate energy in form of ATP. But our ATP produced in the cells is not always diffusing rapidly and efficiently enough to contract muscle cells, particularly if you haven't used those muscles in a while. This is where phosphocreatine comes into play. In your mitochondria, ATP is broken down by the enzyme creatine kinase to ADP, and the phosphate group is transferred onto creatine in the process to produce phosphocreatine. Phosphocreatine can diffuse more easily towards your muscle cell in use. As I said before, during strenuous exercise we produce a lot of ADP. So when the phosphocreatine meets those ADP molecules, creatine kinase in your body converts it back to creatine and produces more ATP to be used by your hard-working muscles. Now, how does the creatine supplementation help with this? Our bodies can naturally produce creatine through the breakdown of the amino acids glycine and arginine, which is what happens in your mitochondria to produce creatine in your body in the first place. If we now take creatine supplements, this balance of energy cycling molecules in the body is shifted by having more creatine molecules in the body to begin with, and it is automatically converted to more phosphocreatine, which is useful to provide those hard-working muscles with extra energy boosts during exercise. Meta-analysis showed that participants taking creatine supplements had an increased power output of up to 26%. Yay! Studies also showed that creatine can be linked to replenishing glycogen, which is not only important for energy production but also reduces depression symptoms, decreases fatigue, and this study even showed it can reduce headaches and dizziness in kids that suffered from traumatic brain injury. Double yay! Does this mean creatine is the underestimated hero? Why are we all not eating this like mad? Would we all look like Arnie in no time? No. What creatine does not do is increase your muscle mass. Well, at least not directly. Muscle mass can increase indirectly through creatine supplementation through more available energy in your muscle for a higher output, which can be a stimulus for more muscle protein synthesis so that your muscle grows. But it can also contribute to retaining water, which can, simply speaking, make your muscle just look bigger. It also does not help with endurance sports. The phosphagen phase is usually used by the body to produce energy in the first 10 seconds of intense physical activity before other energy production from other sources like sugar, glucose or fat kicks in. Also, while there are a multitude of studies showing that creatine is safe as a supplement, you can still find some health concerns about it. Dehydration, digestive problems, muscle cramps or liver and kidney damage. So, is it safe? Most of these concerns were debunked by recent studies such as this one from 2019, showing that it in fact didn't harm kidneys. Others simply lack concrete evidence, especially in human trials. The only real side effect is that it increases the retention of water in your cells, which for high-performance sports might actually be a good thing. And then there is the point that creatine doesn't work the same in everybody. Just like all of us are individual, so is our response to creatine supplementation. Okay now, the bottom line is it's safe and it's useful. So how should you take it? And how much is a useful amount? Many manufacturers recommend a loading phase, where for the first week you take more creatine than you would for the following weeks. But research shows that there is no significant benefit from this. The most positive benefits were achieved with the typical recommended amount of 3 to 5 grams per day. On days where you exercise, that is. Otherwise, it won't do that much for your muscles. And you can start and stop taking creatine whenever you want. Right. With all that knowledge, I'm gonna enjoy my pre-run creatine shot and hit the road. If you have any other sports science related question or want me to look into any other supplement, leave your topics in the comments below. I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Until then, happy exercising and as always, stay sciencey.